Okay, you guys. So today I am going to break down and unpack the Sinners movie. For those of you who have watched, great. Let's get into it. For those of you who have not watched, you might want to exit stage left. Or even if you haven't watched, you might want to stay though, because then when you go watch, you'll kind of like see what I'm talking about and all the pieces of the puzzle will fit together. Let's start off with first, the fact that they released this on Good Friday. Like they literally left you Easter eggs because they want you to hunt. Okay. So let's get into these eggs. Okay. First, we're going to start off with the twin brothers, Smoke and Stack. Smoke wore blue, Stack wore red. Right. The blue represents the Irish mob. The red represents the Italian mafia. Now we'll get into more of the colors later. But I feel like with the red and blue, it kind of reminded me of like in the Matrix, the red and the blue pill, or just kind of like life and death. With the red and the blue, it kind of brings back into play like the Italian wine and the Irish beer. Now, remember, Smoke and Stack had just came back from Chicago. They came back to Mississippi so they can open this juke joint in the Jim Crow era. Now, they were still up in the fields, picking cotton, all kind of stuff. They came back so they can open a juke joint. They literally just had robbed the Irish and Italians and had them beefing and at war with each other. Now, we know what a juke joint signifies, right? Signifies back in those days, just happiness, laughter. Like you can literally come leave all your problems at the door, okay? Come have a good time, listen to some good music, dance, drink, heal, just everything. You can literally be everything you want to be at that juke joint. Now, let's talk about their cousin Sammy, their little cousin Sammy. He wasn't just gifted with singing and playing the guitar, but he had a musical gift on a spiritual frequency. When he played the blues, it literally called spirits. This is how the first vampire Remick knew where he was. And he wanted him so bad. He said when he played music, it connected souls to different eras. This is why at the end, he was willing to let everybody go if he could just get a hold of Sammy. Because Sammy's music opened portals. The same way music does to this day and back then in our ancestors' days. Remember, music can be used as a weapon, a bridge, and a spell. Remember, sound is vibration, and vibration is how we move between realms. Why do you think the radio has to be on a certain frequency to hear sound or music? Y'all still follow me? So the same power that Sammy held with that music attracted not just the light, but the darkness too. You have to remember that when you have a gift, you attract everything and everyone. Everyone will want to draw to you and be a part of it. Not just the good people, but the bad people too. I'm talking about everything, even the spiritual parasites and the energy vampires. Now let's get into the vampires. Because the vampires in this movie literally was not like your average vampires, okay? Most people thought they was coming to the movies to see the regular, literal, oh, this vampire want to suck your blood and kill you. No, these vampires in this movie represented culture vultures, which is why the vultures were on the roof when the vampire Remick first came to town and came to that couple house. Yes, this is why. They represent wanting to steal, take, and drain everything from you. So this is not about your literal blood, but your culture, your gifts, your heritage, etc. The vampires didn't want to unalive Sammy. Remember, they wanted to own him. They wanted to own his gifts, his talent, his power, and his frequency. Colonization. And you know this has been happening for years. They want to take the music, businesses, food, culture, etc. and twist it and make it their own, and then try to feed it back to us after they erase the roots from which it originally came. And remember, vampires cannot come in unless you allow them in. This is law. Everybody knows that, which means negative forces cannot come in unless you allow it in. Whether it's a bad deal, a bad contract, fear, humiliation rituals, etc. They cannot force their way in. Now, they can try to manipulate and finesse their way in. Remember, evil don't always look scary. Sometimes it looks safe, inviting, sounds good, and look like a good opportunity. But the vampires literally suck the culture and the life out of these people. Then they take it as their own and culturally appropriate them. Now, Remick, remember, he was Irish. He was also colonized in the 12th century. Back then, the Irish were formed under Catholic, and Christianity was used to justify the colonization. Now, them Choctaw Indians, they came and tried to warn him. They tried to warn the white people about Remick because he represents colonization, taking everything from people, etc. It's almost like a double entendre. It's like they saying, hey, we've been through this before. We've been through mass genocide. And don't forget, in literal history, the Choctaw Indians helped the Irish back when they had the potato famine. But that's a whole nother part of history. We don't want to get into that right now. Now, it's pretty ironic in the movie that the non-black characters are the ones who bring the black characters down to their downfall, to their demise. It starts by Mary, okay? The white girl Mary. It kind of reminds you of the whole saying, don't invite them to the cookout. If Mary wasn't invited to the cookout, which technically she wasn't invited to the cookout, but okay, Mary, you can go ahead and stay. I feel like none of this would even happen. Okay. Also with the Asians, because the Asians were literally only there to profit, to gain. They only came because it was going to make them some money. And when shit hit the fan, they was about to go. They was trying to leave. They like, we're out of here. We're finna get our car back. We gone. Okay. They wasn't trying to be down and stay and help out. Now, Bo Child went out there and got turned and all of that. And his wife was going out there trying to get him, which they should have let her go out there and get him. Okay, you want to go? Bye. But they allowed her to stay. And because they allow her to stay and wanted to help protect her and still look out for her and still help her, this is what led to the demise and the downfall of them, because she's the one who invited them in. Now, notice how we talked about Smoke and Stack wearing like red and blue. Also, the red and blue kind of signifies like the twin flame, which the director talked about this in his interview that he did, which I thought was so brilliant. And also that when Stack turned, his eyes were purple, which is like the blue and the red combining and bending. You know, you already know how primary colors and all that stuff like that goes. But I thought that was so dope. And it was just such another like symbolism of the movie. Also, it was brought to my attention about the 7 characters and them being the 7 sins and what the 7 sins represent, which is also ironically the name of the movie, Sinners. So we'll start by Stack, representing pride. Smoke represents greed. Pearline represented lust. Grace represented wrath. Delta Slim represented gluttony. Remick represented envy. And Cornbread represented sloth. I thought that was very, very genius. Also, I was getting the whole symbolism of like the sundown town thing too, because, you know, with the whole like, don't come out when the sun down, all that, boo, 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 boo. I thought that was very, very interesting. Like, it's just so many things that you can get from this movie. So many, like, ironic factors that you can pull from different scenes and different meanings, which makes the movie way more doper than what meets the actual eye. Now, let's get into that baptism scene, or the scene where Sammy was in the water with the vampire Remick. And remember when Sammy started praying? You know, he tried to throw that religion in there, thinking that religion was going to save him. That was so, like, such a powerful scene to me, because I know the Christian's going to be mad, and it's okay. But at the end of the day, this is real. And Christianity or religion is basically just something that was used to conform you, that was basically used to just give you hope. Okay, that's it. That's all. So trying to use religion when you need some help, it's just not going to cut it. The vampire literally starts saying the prayer. And all the vampires joined in. Basically just letting you know, he like, hey, it was like laughable, because he's like, dude, I know the prayer because I wrote it. I wrote it. We made this. We made this for you. For you to feel like you got some hope and some help is going to come. You're going to get out of this, but you're not. And he didn't. That was powerful. Guess what got him out of there? What got him out of there was Smoke coming, which in my mind signified like him coming to break the generational curse. He came because it's not going to take religion to help you get out of something. It's going to take you. You have to get you out of something. You have to take the action to break the generational curse. So Smoke came, he unalived the vampire. He broke the generational curse of Sammy thinking that the religion was going to save him. No, the religion is not going to save you, fool. You got to take action. Take action over your life. That's what it takes. You are in control of your life. You have to take action. It's not going to be a religion. It's not going to be Christianity. None of that's going to save you. Yes, there is a God, but God gave you the power to take control of your life and not let culture vultures and energy vampires and evil in. He gave you those gifts to use, which brings me to Annie, the hoodoo priestess. And I just like love her because she's so in touch with herself. She's so in tune with the higher being and the earth. To me, she represented like mother, like nature, just a motherly being, protection, love, peace, like, and just the gift of knowing. She lived her life doing what she was called to do. Everybody has a calling. Everybody don't know what they're called to do. And some people go their whole life without figuring out what they're supposed to be called to do. She knew what she was called to do, and she had been doing it for years. She was working. Okay. She was living and working, doing her work, doing what she was supposed to do, which was to heal and protect. Okay. And be knowledgeable and help save people. And that's what she did. She didn't let those energy vampires take her soul. Okay. Which allowed her to be able to go peacefully and be able to be reborn, because she also represented to me like her and the baby coming back in white represented like the rebirth. Like she was reborn again. You were reborn when you fulfill your work on this earth and do what you're supposed to do, what you were called to do, and you tap into your spiritual gifts and what you're supposed to do. That allows you to, when you do pass, to be reborn and not sell your soul. When you do leave this earth, I do believe that you will be reborn. You will be rebirthed. She was able to come back and have everlasting life. Basically, her soul was at peace. It's everlasting. It was rebirth. But notice how Annie and the Indians were the only people who really knew what was going on in the movie, because those were the only people that were really in tune with what was going on. Those are the people that was like closest to earth. Okay. The people who are most like in tune with what's going on. So if you saw the movie and you didn't understand it, the movie was not for you. And it's okay, because everything is not for everybody. Okay. Everybody knows that. So if you didn't get it, if you didn't get the message, you know, it's not the end of the world. One day you will. But for those of you who know, if you know, you know. So Drop a comment, drop a like, drop a follow. Let me know in the comments if you've seen the movie. How did you like it? If you connected some pieces of the puzzle, if I missed anything, because there's so much stuff. I know I can't unwrap everything in this one video. Okay. It's too much to unwrap, but it was so dope. And it was just so like overwhelming. I just loved it. And I can't wait to come to streaming services because I'm watching it again. Period. So like, share, subscribe.